Okay. Hello, friends. Hooray. I was a little concerned I was going to have trouble going live, so I'm live a few minutes early. We'll wait for folks to tune in, and, we can chat about, like, Call of Cthulhu stuff, which I'm loving. It's fully my new obsession. So, yeah. Okay. I'm making sure, I'm trying to see that I can see like Twitch chat and all that stuff going on. This is my, I guess I'll sit tight and wait to introduce myself and stuff once I can tell if people are here. But I'm excited to be streaming some Call of Cthulhu again. That's gonna be so good. Okay. Huzzah. And there we go. Let me make sure. Oh, hey, Bent, how are you, dude? Okay. Let me make sure we're still getting volume going out. Awesome. Okay, I think I am all set up here with OBS and chat and all my fun stuff. Hi, I'm Maddie. I get to GM on this channel every once in a blue moon, often doing all ladies little one-shots, which are super fun. And now we're doing some solo Call of Cthulhu adventures. So I did my first one. That's the first Thursday of the month is solo Call of Cthulhu. So last month we met Savannah, who was a young and naive lady from Savannah, Georgia, who was taking a job up in Massachusetts, and on her way found herself dealing with some very mysterious things, and ended up burning alive. So today, what we're going to do, so I did not successfully get out of the town alive or deal with the threat. No, Savannah just died horribly. So what we're going to do today is go back through that same adventure, Alone Against the Flames, which is, there's the cover. It's a free adventure from Chaosium. It's one of their published solo adventures. So we're going to try to see if we can't survive the flames this time. And I am going to play a different character. Her name is Annie, and she is going to be Savannah's childhood friend. So she is here looking for Savannah, I don't think she has any hope that Savannah is alive. And she is here to figure out what happened and get some revenge. I'm using a pre-built character, the drifter profession from, those are on Chaosium's website. So in my mind, Annie is this, she and Savannah are these like girlhood friends. They would like play out in the woods and in the marshes together. And even though Savannah is from a fairly like well-to-do family, and Annie very much is not. She's from a very poor family, probably set off on her own in her teenage years, and so has a very different view of the world than Savannah did. And so she is here to see what in the world has happened to her friend. So I'm skipping ahead some. So the cool thing about this Alone Against the Flames adventure is if you're brand new to Call of Cthulhu, it walks you through how to make a character, how to like roll your stats, what the basic mechanics are. So if you just want to learn and have a couple hours to yourself, grab this adventure, and you don't need to grab anything else. You can just make it along the way. The quick start rules are useful to have. Those are also free from Chaosium. So that's cool. That's fun. I think it's fun. Okay, so tonight we'll be revisiting Alone Against the Flames. Oh, I have tea tonight because last time we did this, y'all, I fully lost my voice and had to back out of like I do stuff with the local improv comedy. We've got a great improv comedy scene here in Oklahoma. So there's a theater up in Oklahoma City And I was in a sketch show for a Love is Magic sketch show, and I had to back out of the first performance because I had fully lost my voice and could not talk above a whisper after doing this stream in my cold garage studio. So anyway, I've got some tea and hopefully I have my voice because I have a show on Saturday. It's a student show. I've been taking a narrative improv class, which I feel like is just another name for tabletop role-playing games. Narrative improv is tabletop role-playing games in 40 minutes without dice. So that's my opinion. You can, I guess, come at me if you don't like that opinion. Okay, is there anything else we need to know before we start? I don't think so. I think we can just go ahead and get started. The way these solo adventures work is it's kind of a choose your own adventure novel thing. The story as written assumes you come to this town by accident. But Annie is obviously here on purpose. So I am skipping ahead to the point in the story where she is getting her lodging for the night. And that is, there's only one place in town to do that, and that is at May Ledbetter's home. Viewers from last time may remember my struggles with an Irish accent, so we'll see how I do in that tonight. I did not pick the Irish accent. The book says she has an Irish accent, and here we are. Okay. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and pull up. Okay, you guys can see my beautiful face. I think we might actually adjust that a little bit. I think that looks prettier. You can see Annie's character sheet there on the left. Notice I got her some more hit points. So she has 13 hit points, unlike poor Savannah's 9. So maybe Annie has a better chance of surviving. And we've got some good skills in fast talk, fighting. Annie can throw a punch. And we still have that spot hidden is trained. So I've got a 35 in that. So at least I'm not completely terrible at it. Yeah. Okay. So, I think without further ado, let's jump into Alone Against the Flames. I feel surprisingly weary considering I spent all day sitting in a car. The directions I have lead me to a modest dwelling with a slate roof. A nameplate reads Ledbetter, and underneath a sign and neat copperplate reads Lodging Room. The lane around me is gloomy, but a lamp flickers in the window. A breeze chills my face. I'm not about to begin my investigation by sleeping in the streets, so I rap on the weather-beaten door. After a moment, I hear footsteps inside the house. A bolt is drawn back and the wooden door swings open. A figure with loose curls and a rough-looking house dress peers at me. Her gaze takes in my traveling case, and her voice has a slight Irish lilt. "Hello, should I take it you're looking for a room for the night?" I inquire as to her rates, suppressing a grimace. As far as I've seen, the village doesn't offer many alternatives. "Oh, you'll find them very reasonable," she says. "You look tired. I'm May. Come inside and we'll talk over a cup of tea." The Ledbetter house feels cramped with a low ceiling and simple fittings. But it's well kept and a cheerful fire cracks in the grate. The aroma of tea is soothing and the cup warms my fingers. "Have you come to Imberhead for the festival?" I decide to ask about the festival because that's a good enough reason as any to be in the town. "Well now, I suppose the festival is about the only reason folks come to Imberhead. I thought you would maybe come to study it or take photographs. Well, it's not tomorrow night, but the night after. I suppose it must look very strange to a passerby." May tops up my tea. The spout clinks against my cup. "We've got the beacon, you see. One night every year, there's a torch-lit procession and we light the beacon on the cliffs. You've never seen the like of it. They say it keeps the spirit of the village alive for another year. It's a celebration." She trails off for a moment and blinks. But you didn't come here to listen to me blather, and you must be hungry. I can rustle you up a bit of stew. How would that be? That'd be the very nice, ma'am, thank you. The room is small but comfortable, and the stew is dark and hearty. And after dinner, I decide to go out and get my bearings. So that's one of my decisions here. I can talk to May more, I can walk around and get my bearings, or turn in for an early night. And I'm going to, like, if I had a keeper running this for me, right, I might, like, talk to May and ask about Savannah, but since this is all pre-written and this book doesn't know that a previous character has died, I'm just gonna have to go investigate and, like, not trust anybody in the town. Okay. May's brow creases... Oh, excuse me. That's not in May's voice. Here we go. May's brow creases when I announce my intention to take a stroll. Mind how you go, she says. Emberhead's surrounded by cliffs, and we don't have your fancy street lamps here. Take the lantern, watch your step. Outside, I see what she means. The sky is overcast. Only a few glimmers of moonlight peek from the clouds. Without the heavy lantern, I'd be walking in near total darkness. I cannot hope of getting an overview of the village tonight. May Street is a narrow passage, hemmed in by squat, dark dwellings. At the end, however, it opens up. A wide thoroughfare leads off to my right. A crude sign names it Silver Street. To the left, a few yards away, my light picks out the crooked posts of a simple fence, and beyond that, the ground drops away into darkness. I take a couple of steps closer, but can't see nothing. Air from below cools my face. Then some instinct makes me look around. An ink-black figure stands in the road about 20 yards behind me. It stares at me. I form the sudden impression that it will run at me and throw me over the edge of the cliff. It's unsettling. Seeing it's been spotted, the figure slips away down the alley. And I am absolutely going to confront the dark figure. Okay. As I approach, the figure takes a pace back, then another. It slips down an alley between two buildings. Okay, so I have to make a track roll to catch my target. So, first roll, very exciting. Sorry, this stream might look weird for a second. Okay. Track, I don't have any points in that, so I've got to get below a 10. So here is hoping on that. Oh, team, I got a 4! I made a successful track roll. I am so excited. Okay. Sorry, last time I could not roll anything. Okay. I succeeded at a roll. I'm still baffled. All right, so we're going to 141. The figure moves fast with almost silent steps, but my instincts keep me on its tail. It slips through a dusty courtyard, veering off between iron fences. I close in as it darts around a corner. A breeze warns that I'm close to a cliff edge. The flickering light from my lantern picks out its grassy lip as I charge in pursuit. I slow my pace, watching for unexpected voids beneath me. The watcher pulls further away, but rather than darting back into the maze of streets, it makes for the cliff edge. I close in. The dark figure swings its head to stare at me once more. I receive a brief, uneasy impression of something wrong in the face. Then it leaps over the cliff edge. My mouth drops open. I approach the edge, lantern swinging in the wind. Dim light plays on the rock face beneath me. Did I frighten someone into suicide? My gut says no, but I can't explain what just happened. I get to make a sanity roll, so that's fun. Okay, let's make a sanity roll. My starting sanity is, in fact, 50. My starting sanity is 50. So, let's roll, and hope I roll... That's a 58. Okay, I'll take the sanity damage. That's, okay. Alright, so if I fail, I lose 1d2 sanity points. Okay. So let me just roll. I'm going to have a die. I'll roll a d4 here and take that off. I'll 1d4 rounded down, or divided by 2, I guess. There we go. Okay, so I rolled a 3, so that'll be, I lose 2 sanity points. So I am down to 48. Nope, not 25. That would be very bad. There we go, 48. So I lose 2 sanity for seeing a man jump off a cliff. Okay. And then I find my way back to the Ledbetter house, the lantern trembling in my grasp. If May notices my unease, she says nothing. I feel weary. Okay, so we go to 63. Okay. As May stands, I hear a clunk behind me. I look over my shoulder, but all I can see is the wooden door securely closed. May tuts. The young lady of the house. She'll have been listening to us. Ruth, come out and greet our guest. There's a short pause, then the door creaks open. 2 wide eyes peer at me from the gap between tousled hair and a rough nightgown. What do you say? The eyes blink. Pleased to meet you. Now get back to bed. The door closes again. My daughter Ruth, 10 years this summer. She's a delight and a torment all in one. Don't worry, she sleeps in with me. She'll not disturb you. Good night now. I retire to my room. It's a little chilly, but I'm too tired to worry about lighting the fire. The sheets are clean and the bed soon warms up. The silence outside is strange after living... This says after living in town for so long, but Annie so does not live in a town. The silence outside feels strange. We'll go to 154. Okay. I dream of fire in the grate. Coruscating colors shimmering through the dancing tongues of flame. At first, they're tiny, almost microscopic, but they grow and grow until a kaleidoscope inferno spills from the fireplace, spreading across the floor, up the sheets. I wake with a start. Daylight glints through the curtains. I get up and examine the grate, blinking the sleep from my eyes. It's quite cold. And it says if I've taken any damage, I may heal 1. But I did not take any damage. Just lost some sanity. Okay. May seems to have no running water, but has supplied some in a ceramic jug. I freshen up at the washstand and go in. She cooks a hearty breakfast and leaves me in peace to eat. At about 7:30, I'm paid up, packed, and ready to go. I bid May goodbye, and she wishes me well. Oh, hey, Dapper, how are you, dude? Thanks for coming over. So if I succeeded a skill roll last night and wish to investigate further, I can go to 178 or go to this other paragraph. So I'm gonna use the. You managed to survive this one. Proud of you. This is actually my 3rd run through because I did one off camera with a delightful physicist that I really liked playing, and she fell off a cliff and died. Okay, so I am going to investigate that hillside that I was looking at yesterday. I retrace my steps of last night. A few villagers watch with polite curiosity as I thread my way along the northern cliffs. In time, I think I've found the spot. Heart thudding in my chest, I peer over the edge. Nothing. With benefit of daylight, I see the cliff is not the bottomless drop I'd imagined. It leads to a shelf some 20 yards below. It could still be a lethal tumble, but I don't see any body or blood. So I'm going to make a spot hidden roll. Let's... So let's make a spot hidden. I have 35 in spot hidden, so let's see how that goes. Okay, that's a 36. I am going to spend a point of luck to bring that down. So my luck started at a 55. And you can spend luck to like spend 1 point of luck brings that total of 36 down to a 35. So I'm going to do that. I think that's a house rule. I'm not sure if that's rules as written, but I stole it from Becca Scott, and I just assume she knows all about luck, about Call of Cthulhu. So the rule is you can't spend, I know it's a house rule, is that you can't spend more than 10 points of luck on one roll. So I'm going to abide by that, but I am going to bring that 36 down to a 35. Okay. If I succeed, go to 112. Okay. My keen eyes pick it up after a couple minutes of scanning the cliff face. There's a series of protruding rocks combined with what look like man-made incisions. The effect is an ingenious hidden stairway that leads down the cliff. No doubt the dark figure used this to descend safely. I look along the lower shelf. I see only a few drab shacks off to my right. This might have been an interesting find where okay. This might be an interesting find where I'm not about to leave Emberhead for good. But no. Annie's here to figure things out. So, I have discovered a secret. If you ever need to climb or descend this northeasterly cliff, the text will offer you a hint. At that point, if you want to try the staircase, add 100 to my current entry number and go to that new entry. Okay, so add 100 to the entry number. Cool. Oh, I also get to restore 1 sanity point and check the box next to spot hidden, which means that if I survive this, I get to improve my spot hidden between adventures. Okay, so it's giving me a mechanic to inside the text here to use the staircase. And let's go check our spot hidden. That's a great thing to get to improve if Annie lives. Okay. All right, going on to the next thing. Okay, this is in the main story. Silas just sort of drops you off and pieces out. So this would be where somebody is going to look for Silas and he is gone. So Annie, Dapper, if this character lives, I'm gonna check for advancement. And then if Annie lives, we'll go on to, I think the next one in the Chaosium's series of solo adventures is Alone Against the Tide. I think that's the next one. So that's what I'm making myself get through this one before we advance. Okay. So Annie is going to make her way to the sort of main part of town. And figure out what I am going to investigate. I'm having to jump through a few. Here we go. Okay. I wander the main streets of Emberhead without any particular destination in mind. The village is built on a relatively flat upland with splendid views. To the north, the hazy tips of the White Mountains reach for the heavens. To the south, the sparkling waters of Lake Winnipesaukee touch the horizon. The village itself takes less than 5 minutes to cross from end to end. I arrived on the winding road to the west. The only other road leads to the south, following the lower ridge of land as it turns east. In the southwest of the village, an open, grassy space borders a ruined church, its graveyard cresting the cliffs. To the northeast, the 3 main thoroughfares meet at a raised black metal structure. It looms stark against the blue sky. Oh, Dapper, I'm jealous. Actually, my husband would be even more jealous of that Alien RPG grab. He loves Alien. Okay. So I can either ask about transport at the local general store. I'm not interested in that. Seek out the village hall. That sounds like reading, and that's not really Annie's thing. Walk down to the lower level and check out the eastern road. Examine the large metal structure. Explore the church. Or look for local people with transport. I'm going to go examine the large metal structure, because that looks weird. I walk up the approach, the most central of the village's main major streets. It points directly at the odd metal structure. As I emerge from the shade of the nearby buildings, I am greeted by a magnificent panorama spread from the north to the southeast. The last colors of fall tint the hills in a sleepy gold. The structure, by contrast, is made from uncompromising iron, singed black. It supports an immense curved platform at the level of my head. Further struts snake up to a central point. It looks like there may have been some kind of sculpture at one time, but are now twisted and melted beyond recognition. An older gentleman passes, looks up at me with rheumy eyes. "Are you here for the festival?" he asks. "That's the beacon. When they light it night after next, you'll be able to see it from miles away." He gives a little nod of satisfaction, then moves on, leaning on his walking stick. Now I notice bundles of wood tied against the buildings nearby. Perhaps this festival would be an interesting diversion. Okay, spot hidden roll. Let's go, let's go. All right, once again, we're looking for 35 or below. Oof. Ooh, that's a 43. Okay, I can get there with luck. That would cost me 8 points. And I think I'm going to be dumb and do that. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not 23, 46. 46 in my luck. Okay. We're going to do it. We're going to succeed at some early rolls. Oh, redeemed give inspiration. That's delightful. That's excellent. Okay, sorry, I didn't know that was a thing I could do. I'll re-roll and then see if I get that low roll. Okay, second roll is worse, but I'll spend the luck and make it succeed. Awesome. Okay. Oh, or I can save it. Sorry. I'll be silly. I don't feel like I'm cheating. I'm gonna save that inspiration. I didn't know that was a mechanic on the channel. Okay. So I'll save that and do that. Okay. So I succeeded and I get to go to 69. Nice. Okay. As I walk away from the iron structure, I notice something strange about the construction of the village. All the wooden dwellings are concentrated in the west and southwest. To the east and northeast, closest to the beacon, the buildings are formed from dark brick and clay. Does this mean the settlement began at the beacon and spread west? I get to check mark the small box beside spot hidden, but I already got to do that. Anyway, so now I get to go to another spot. Okay. I'm beginning to get my bearings in Emberhead. Would you like to explore more? I would love to explore more. Okay. I'm going to want to ask about transport. That seems boring. Seek out the village hall. Also sounds boring. Walk down the lower level and check out the eastern road. Examine the large metal structure. I feel like I already did that. Explore the church. Look for people with their own transport needs. Nope, let's go explore the church. I cross the street towards the church. As I glance to my left, my gaze alights on the large metal structure. Something bothers me about its positioning. I look back up and look again. Yes, Emberhead's central thoroughfare points directly at the structure. This seems too precise to be a coincidence. I press on and draw into the shadow of the church. The building is in a sorry state. The top of the steeple's missing a ragged gash of splintered boards making its absence, and the floors beneath it. Sorry. The top of the steeple is missing a ragged gash of splintered boards marking its absence, and the floors beneath it have collapsed. There we go. So collapsed, dilapidated church. It appears to have been torn through the roof of the main building as it fell. Only the back half is still intact. The white paint, which once covered the church, has yellowed and peeled. It seems safe enough to explore the rear section. Old pews are stacked against the wall, choked with mildew. Most of the windows are broken. I guess the church has been disused for about 20 years, and there's little more to interest me. Okay, I have to make a ride roll, and I get to do so with advantage. So let's roll twice and see what happens. Oop. Sorry. Let's say 75. I don't think I have anything in ride. No, I've got to get below a 5, so. And a 65. So no, failed those pretty bad. So let's go ahead and go. We'll go ahead and take the L on that one. Okay. So I think I might walk. I'm gonna keep exploring. And I'm gonna walk down to the lower level and check out the eastern road, because that feels like exploring. The air is fresh and the walk down to the lower ridge invigorating. I notice cultivated fields, stretching through the lowlands around Emberhead, and among the crops some livestock, but no horses. Further down, the road skirts the edge of the ridge and descends. There are a few scattered hovels here with signs of habitation. They are a substantial distance apart. As I examine them, a door opens and an older man steps out. He wears a bedraggled suit. He carries a piece of cloth, which he tosses over his head like a hood. As he does this, he sees me and freezes. Now I get to make a luck roll. So my luck is currently a 46. So you just have to get. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Ooh, that's a 73. Oh, you know what? I want to use my inspiration. I want to re-roll that. Is what I want to do. Also, if you're playing with a keeper, 27 success. Okay, if you're playing with a keeper, you can push it, and let that take a reroll. But if you fail the second time, you have even more dire consequences than before. I need a new tens place dice. Potentially, but Dapper, I'm rolling so much better, knock on wood, than I was last game. Yeah. So, okay. The man looks up at the village, scanning the cliff tops. I get a brief flash of his face. There's something unsettling about it. Then he turns to walk away from the road, but as he does, he raises a hand and slowly beckons me to follow the strange man. Absolutely. We're going to do that. The other option is, if this seems unwise, go over here. I'm like, what? No, that's not the game we're playing. We're playing Learn Things. I follow the man around the outcrop. He glances up, then steps between two rocks and vanishes. Closer inspection reveals a narrow channel leading into the cliff. There's just enough light to see a small, natural chamber within. I'll be uncomfortably close to this man if I go inside, and we are following him. Let's go. With wary steps, I squeeze between rocky outcrops and into the concealed chamber, almost banging my head on the low ceiling. The man settles back against the wall and watches until I draw close. Then he slides back his hood. Make a sanity roll. Okay. I got a 30, And my current sanity is a 48. So brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Actually, oh no, I don't remember if I marked it. Anyway, it's fine. Oh no, yeah, I got to regain 1 sanity earlier, and I forgot to mark that down when I discovered the stair steps and realized that that guy last night did not just throw himself off a cliff. So I passed this sanity roll, and my current sanity is 49. Okay, so next bit. What is going on here? Some of the man's face remains. Hold on, let's read that again. Some of the man's face remains. That's a sentence I did not expect to read. A strip from the right side of his jaw through his eye socket is healthy and pale, if aged. But the left side is consumed by angry scar tissue. One eye droops, hooded by melted flesh, and the nostril on the right side is pulled open to leave a gaping hole. The disfigured man studies my reaction with his one good eye. Name's Arbogast. Willard Arbogast. Guess I don't need to ask what brings you to Emberhead. Ooh. If I claim to have come for the festival, if I admit Silas stranded me here, go to 214. We're gonna do the Silas stranded, but I'm gonna play it as like Silas stranded my friend here. That's kind of the storytelling bit. Arbogast may be a perfectly normal human name, but it's very hard to say with that southern accent I'm jumping into. Okay. The swollen mouth gives a little twist downwards. Son of a bitch has rat's blood. His fingers tighten into a fist. Arbogast fixes me with a lopsided yet intense stare. You seek me out, eh? He looks up at the cave ceiling. Which one of them told you about me? Never mind, it doesn't matter. Truth is, they fear what I know. They'd never come at me direct. Don't want to end up like old Arbogast. He giggles. The high-pitched sound is all the more grotesque coming from those bloated lips. Then, abruptly, his gaze turns to iron. Emberhead died 40 years ago. Shattered by flame, consumed by the stars themselves. The ancient hill was cleansed by inferno, and from the blackened ground came new life, as is the way of all things. The Abinkai knew. Arbogast wipes his nose on his sleeve. Except none of that happened. The flames were turned away, the necessary death postponed a year, and a year again. And now those up there, he stabs a scrawny finger at the ceiling, think themselves saviors of the village. They think they can defy the great old ones. Aya Cathaga, he shakes his head. With strange eons, their lives matter less than the blink of an eye. A fierce intelligence burns in his gaze. But I suspect Arbogast may be quite insane. Should his mood change, it would not be difficult for him to seize one of the loose rocks and crack my skull with it. Oh no. Okay, here are my options, team. Ask Arbogast about the Abenaki. 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 I can ask him about that. I can ask him about the great old ones. Or I can ask him about the villagers. I feel... Okay, I wanna ask about Abernaki. That's what I want to ask about. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Okay. The Abenaki, he frowns. They knew this land and cherished it. They lived here in harmony for their allotted time. Air and earth, water and fire. They accepted every daybreak as a gift, and they trod lightly on the land. Yet we came and we ended them. Their time is past. Now ours must end. Arbogast runs a hand through his hair. A wide strip is missing on the left side, displaced by scar tissue. He climbs to his feet. Arbogast pauses in the shadows. There's something about you, something the previous ones never had. Maybe you can make it through. If you want to hear more, meet me again after dark, 9 o'clock. The graveyard on the other side. He lifts a gnarled finger. Don't be followed, else I won't be there. This ain't the time of year for a showdown. Arbogast wipes his nose on his sleeve again. Go now, their eyes are on me. And stranger, don't try to run. You'll never make it. I emerge into the sunlight, blinking and more than a little shaken. I discovered a secret. Later tonight, the text will offer you a chance to follow up on a previous appointment. At that point, if you want to meet with Arbogast again, add 20. So 20 for Arbogast. And go to that new entry. For now, go to 160. Okay. I turn back to the road and the core business of getting out of Emberhead and onwards to Ossipee. The ridge gives me a good viewpoint from which I can see the course of the road. It winds with the hills, disappearing into the woodland for a while before emerging further on. I lose sight of it somewhere towards a second patch of woodland. By my best estimation, it's at least 6 or 7 miles distant. I see no other settlements or traffic. It may be worth taking a chance and walking. The weather's mild, but I'd need supplies before I attempt it. Okay, I get to investigate one more thing. I don't want to ask about transports. I think I'm going to seek out the village hall. Okay. The village hall backs against a cliff at the east end of Silbury Street. It's the largest building I've seen so far in Emberhead. It is, however, locked and shuttered. I walk around it, peering through the gaps in the shutters. There seems to be one large room, presumably for community meetings, and a smaller annex which serves as an office and an archive. One of the windows is bricked up. Back to the main door, I can see no posted opening hours. Mr. Winston doesn't open up mornings this time of year, says a gray-garbed woman passing by. Best come back this afternoon. I'll have to try again later. Okay, so I've done all of my exploring. And so now I go to 3. Oh, that one's not gonna... The nice thing about the PDF, by the way, if you're playing this, if you want to play it yourself, is you can click on all the numbers and it jumps auto for you, but it looks like the link is broken for this one. So, let's go to 3. Okay. My morning exertions have left me hungry. I roam the streets of Emberhead looking for sustenance. There's nothing resembling the busy cafes of Savannah or anything that might be called a restaurant. It's beginning to look like I'll have to get supplies from the general store when May Ledbetter comes down the street with a girl trailing in her wake. This must be Ruth. As she notices me, she races past her mother and approaches me with a smile. This is a different Ruth from the shy creature of last night. As she reaches me, she stops and stretches her arms up in celebration. She looks up into my eyes. Abruptly, the smile drops from her face and she looks several years older. Get out before the festival, she hisses. Get out! She blinks hard, then scuttles back towards her mother. May approaches, wrapping an arm around her daughter's shoulders. She smiles. How are you getting on? You found transport? Startled, I explain I explored this morning. You'll be hungry by now. Help yourself to any food in the house. The door's not locked. I glance at Ruth, where she has squirreled herself behind her mother's leg, Her eyes implore me to silence, but I'm going to ignore that imploring and go to... do I want to ask Ruth about what she said or ask May about what she said? I'm going to ask May about it. Let's do it. I ask May why Ruth wants me to leave town. She gives her daughter a hard stare. Ruth looks at the ground. May says, Ruth doesn't like it when you have guests in the house, but she needs to learn that we don't always get what we want in life. Sometimes we have to do things we might not best like, but they're necessary all the same. May shakes her head at me and then nods back in the direction of the house. I catch a hint of emotion in those green eyes. What does that mean? Okay. I take my leave of the Ledbetters and head towards their house. The doors open easily, and in the kitchen I make myself a meal from starchy bread and leftover stew. A little window offers a view of the mountains. Okay. If I learned one thing this morning, it was that Emberhead streets hold little to occupy the visitor from out of town. But there's still about 5 hours of daylight remaining. I could take some provisions and set out in the hope of reaching another settlement before dark, or I could ask advice from this Mr. Winters. I am going to go to the village hall instead and talk to Mr. Winters. The village hall overlooks the lower north ridge of the village. I walk along Silver Street to find it, conscious of the oppressive black metal structure framed at the end of the road. The shutters of the hall are open, and some windows left ajar. There's no knocker, but a little bell over the entrance tinkles as I push the front door. Inside, the studded door to my right is marked private. To my left, an opening leads through a bright room. I take a few steps inside. Benches line the walls, and there are 2 notice boards mounted between the windows. I'm going to examine the notice boards. The floorboards creak beneath me as I cross the room. I feel a slight spring in my step. Perhaps this room is used as a gymnasium for the village children. One notice board appears to be for the adults of the community and one for the children. The former looks neglected, featuring handwritten advertisements for household items and a yellowed note about telegraph pricing. There's nothing about the festival. The children's notice board has a schedule for weekly crochet services and a number of paintings obviously done by the children themselves. Most are incoherent, though colorful. As best as I can tell, they depict fireworks, or perhaps the tale of Joseph from the book of Genesis. One has lost a pen and hangs upside down. It shows a giant bird attacking Emberhead, or it might simply be the artist had not yet mastered the subtleties of scale. Make a spot, hit and roll. Okay. Spot hidden. So this is a 35 we've got to get below. I keep forgetting I just hit the space bar. Ooh, that's a 99! No! I see nothing. I see nothing. Okay, fail that. Let's go on. Oof. The door scrapes behind me. A middle-aged, bespectacled gentleman appears in the doorway. May I help you? I explain I'm visiting on May Letterhead's recommendation. Well, I'm Clyde Winters. I'm not sure I can help you, but would you care for some coffee? I'm partial to a cup in the afternoon. He gestures to the open door behind him. This seems like a worthwhile opportunity, and I'm a little thirsty. I step through the door marked private. The other side of the village hall is a marked contrast to the public space. The room is compact, lined with shelves of books and file alcoves. One corner is reserved for a tiny pantry and what is presumably a water closet. I study Mr. Winters as he fills the percolator. Although thin on top, his hair is oiled and neatly swept back. His suit is a somber affair, and well-tailored even if the cut is a little old-fashioned. A lesson man working alone might have loosened his bow tie for comfort. On the desk against the opposite wall, I notice what looks like a telegraph set. I'm asking about the telegraph set immediately and not making small talk. Let me ask about that. The telegraph? Much as we value our isolation, we do need the link sometimes. You were hoping to send a message? I must apologize. The line's been down for 2 weeks. I reported the fault, but of course they're not so speedy when the problem lies in a rural area. I'm expecting the repair the day after next. I do appreciate how frustrating this much be. The coach is due in 3 days? But I think he's going west. I tell you what. Winnes pours me a steaming cup of coffee. The dark liquid smells rich and strong. When the repair crew arrives, I'll ask them to take you back with them. How would that be? They might want $1 or $2 to grease the wheels. The day after tomorrow? Less than ideal, but it's the first real opportunity I've had. So I'm going to thank Mr. Winters and leave, as opposed to asking about his library, because Annie doesn't care about libraries. Okay. Okay. As the light fades, I return to the Ledbetter house and eat a light supper. May is unusually taciturn. Ruth's eyes flicked me several times during the meal. There's an urgency there I cannot quite interpret. Afterwards, May ushers the girl into their room. I've been in Inverhead for barely 1 whole day, and I ought to feel confined by it, both geographically and socially. The evening seems to offer little. So my options now are to go stargazing, attempt to speak to Ruth, or follow up on a previous appointment, which is what I would like to do. So I'm going to go find Abagat. Jeez. Okay, so to do that, I need to go to number 200. Okay. Arbogast is not at the appointed meeting place. I give him 10 minutes, but he doesn't show. I curse the old crank and head back towards May's house. Psst. A hand snakes from the door. Damn it, Dapper! That's not helpful. A hand snakes from the doorway and grabs my arm. I jump at the sight of that half face glimpsed in starlight. One of them's near, he whispers. Watching. Come with me. Oh, this is exciting. Okay. Arbogast leads me across the thoroughfare, sleeping between houses. The metal structure looms at the end of the street. Silent now, he says. But the beacon will come alive tomorrow night. He ushers me into a little alcove beyond the village school. Arbogast glances behind me, then sits down. Again, I feel uncomfortable in the proximity to that scarred visage. One melted eyelid lifts. You don't have long. Understand this. I was the conduit, the interpreter. Before the fool Winters and his fancy words. The things which come to Emberhead care not for words. Those idiots think this is a ritual sacrifice? He spits on the grass. It's a ritual of control. They know the words, but they do not comprehend the forces they call. He sniffs and sits back. No. You have no time for more questions. I will teach you how to end it in the moment when all is lost. You can return this hill to the earth, to the death that came 40 years ago. I've tried it myself, but... His head sags. I no longer have the concentration. The chant is simple. I can teach you it. But you must perform it with clarity of mind that I've lacked for years. Yeah, let's learn the chant. Let's go figure that out. Okay. I feel very dislocated from reality as I sit on the cliff top behind a school at night learning a chant by rote from a madman. Arbogast is careful to teach it to me in sections. He glances into the sky. Won't work right now. Cloud covering the star. But he still takes care not to pronounce the whole thing at once. It has a rhythmic beginning and various elaborations, but the core passage is repeated 3 times. Okay. There's a lot of apostrophes in these words. I'm gonna try. Okay. Filling glue, Mglanaf, Cthulhu, Gha Formahant Naga Ga Naful Thargan Aya Cthuga. In time, Abagast listens to me recite and nods. Remember every sound, but never speak it if you have plans left on this earth. I have discovered a secret. If your situation ever becomes desperate enough to try the ritual, the text will offer you the option to chant. At that point, if you want to try it, add 10 to your current entry. Okay, so 10 for chant. That sounds fun. Arbogast leans back. It makes you one with the living. A black shape lunges from the dark. It wraps an arm around Arbogast's throat and drags him backwards out of the alcove. He grabs at the arm, kicking empty air. I see the gleam of a long blade in the moonlight. Make a dodge roll. Okay. Getting exciting. What is my dodge? Half my dex. So 60? What? Oh, I see. I am trained in it. Okay, so 60 for dodge. Excellent. 18. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's actually that's a hard success, but I don't think that matters. If I succeed, go to 195. A second figure swings at me with some kind of blunt weapon. I shove it aside and scramble out, trying to find a more defensible position. A gurgle draws my attention. Arbogast has a hand clasped to his neck. Blood drips between the fingers and spills from his mouth. His assailant stabs him again, the wet blade slicing Arbogast's wrist, even as it sinks into his neck. I see faces now, low faces dubbed in some kind of terror substance, eyes gleaming with hatred. Arbogast shoves his attacker off, staggering back, more blood cascading down his arm. The old man has willpower. He plants his feet and raises a hand. Make a sanity roll. Okay. That is a... Oh, that's a 29. My sanity is more than that. My sanity is at a 49. Brilliant. So if I succeed, go here. 2 out of 210. I do enjoy not being stabbed, Bent. Yes, absolutely. Arbogast howls, a choked, wet sound. He stabs his palm forward, fingers curled in a strange gesture. Fire springs from the ground at his feet, a flickering blue wave. It rushes in a stream, as if following a line of gasoline, directly toward each attacker. Hungry, it climbs their clothing. They shriek as the flames touch their flesh. Arbogast drops to one knee. His face is pale in the illumination from the fires. His head hangs forward, yet even as his hand shudders, his eyes are light with intractable will. The assailants scream as they flee in different directions, eerie light playing off the building as they pass. They leave behind a terrible pungence of seared flesh. Tiny shoots of fire dance in the grass for seconds longer, then vanish. Arbogast drops. The blood flow from the wounds in Arbogast's neck has slowed to a trickle. His breath is shallow and fleeting. I can see his situation is hopeless. His eyes flutter, then close as laughter parts. A moment in respect. However, the attackers may come back. Who can I trust in the village? Absolutely no one. So I'm going to go back to the Ledbetter house and say nothing, which is my only option other than getting May. Okay. Whew. The familiar surroundings of my guest room are becoming constrictive. The neat bed, small wardrobe, and dressing mirror have the feel of a prison cell about them. What am I still doing here? I lie on the bed and stare at a small crack in the ceiling. I turn over the day's events, thinking through the little details I spotted. But I am certainly weary from the elevation and the fresh air. But do I feel safe here? No, so I am going to stay awake and not let myself fall asleep. Sleep presses down on me. I blink it back and sit up, trying to think through my situation. Everything in Emberhead seems to be working to stop me from leaving. Maybe it was working the same way against Savannah. Perhaps the answer is to strike out at first light, to walk as far and fast as I can. I can always return for my things, though I didn't bring much with me. A tiny creak draws my attention to the other side of the room. Slowly, almost silently, the doorknob is turning. So I can either grab it and wrench the door open, or pretend to be asleep. I'm going to grab it and wrench the door open. I heave the door open, ready for confrontation. May stands on the other side, wrapped in her bed jacket. She steps back in alarm. "You seemed not yourself," she stammers. "I wanted to check up on you." I assure May I'm in fine health and watch as she returns to her own bedroom. Once the door is closed, I borrow a kitchen chair to wedge under the door handle. Perhaps this piece of fortification will permit me a few hours of restful sleep. I awaken to the sound of feet in the street outside. My night's rest has brought new determination. Today, I will meet Emberhead on my own terms. Okay. The lead-bedded kitchen is empty, although bread and eggs have been laid out for my breakfast. There's a note from May explaining that she has taken Ruth out for a few hours. If I was involved in a fight in the village last night and want to investigate the aftermath, I would like to do that. Because the other thing is an otherwise. So let's figure that out. I feel skittish as I approach the spot where Abagast and I were attacked. My memory of the encounter is shaky, but I remember one or two vivid images. At first, I think there's nothing there. No discarded weapons or figures lying unconscious, but upon closer examination, I find sticky, congealed patches and blackened lines in the grass. If the village has a police station, I could go there, but something tells me events have gone beyond that. I make a quiet circuit of the village, pausing in unobtrusive places to watch the villagers. It's rather busy for this time in the morning. Yawning locals stream back and forward along the roads, carrying bundles of split logs to the site of what I've heard referred to as the beacon. I see two figures odded up in its superstructure arranged in the wood. The festival bonfire will be most impressive. Do I intend to stay to see it? I suspect by now something is amiss here. While the villagers are distracted, I may do some illicit investigations. Okay, so I can go search May Ledbetter's bedroom, go alone to the village hall, take a closer look at the artisan's courtyard, spy on activities at the beacon, or slip down the east road and flee for good. I think I am going to... Okay, I haven't been to the artisan's courtyard, so I think I'm going to go there. No, I'm just going to spy on the beacon. Because that's the focus of everything. Okay. The northern side of the village is bustling, and I'm unlikely to remain hidden here for long. I head in the direction of the church, and then move up the east side behind the houses. A drop looms on my right side. One particular section of ground is quite narrow, and I have to hug the building for support. I can either give up this approach, and go on to a different part of the story. To proceed, I have to compare my size with my dex. If my dex is higher, go to 42. If my size is higher, make a natural world roll. And then... Okay, so let me see. compare size and dex. Goodness. Okay. Dex is 65. Size is 60. So my dex is bigger than my size. Okay. I'm just going to do that and proceed to 42. Okay. The turf sinks beneath my feet and stones crumble from its edge. Alarmed, I grip the building and ease myself forward. Finally, I have a good spot to watch the beacon. Okay. I lie concealed in the grass and watch the activity around the beacon. Villagers bring in yet more bundles of tinder and stack them in neat bundles. Another shift passes the bundles up to a pair of men standing on the raised platform of the beacon. They are constructing a triangular structure resembling a gigantic campfire. As I watch, I'm struck by the manner of the laborers. This is a festival. You would expect a cheerful atmosphere and some light-hearted conversation. Yet the faces of some show resignation and detachment, others a naked dread. I watch for a good half hour before I slip away. Okay, I feel a deepening sense of unease about Emberhead and this day in particular. So, and then it's, once you have attempted 3 of the options below, go to 98. Otherwise, I can search May Letterhead's bedroom, go alone to the village hall, take a closer look at the artisan's courtyard, spy on activity at the beacon, and slip down the east road to flee for good. So I've done one thing. I have spied on the beacon. I think I'm going to go check out the artisan's courtyard. I approach around the back of the buildings in Emberhead's northwestern corner. By this time in the morning, I would expect activity in the artisan's courtyard, but the benches and anvils sit deserted. My footsteps echo off the surrounding walls. One of the workshops is shut up and padlocked. I peek through the joints, but I can't see nothing inside. To try to crack the padlock, to physically break into the locked workshop, or to move on to another area. Okay. Oh, okay, so like crack, like pick the lock. I don't have anything in locksmith, so let's try to physically break in the locked workshop. Okay. I examine the workshop. It's well constructed, but the wood has been weakened by years of sun and rain. I may be able to break it open with one fierce charge. I'd better make it good, though. I can't afford to attract attention with repeated tries. So I can make a strength roll. My strength is good. My strength is 85. So, let's see what we can do. Oh, that's a total of 8. Oh my goodness. That is, by the way, an extreme success, below 1/5 of my total stat. So that's delightful. But I guess I just break through it extremely well. I push aside the door and step inside the workshop. The air is cool against my face, and I see light glistening through the eaves, excuse me. There's a spot on my screen. The center of the room features a raised slab with a slight slope. An indentation beneath it suggests something sits there. A basin, perhaps? Prone shapes are racked against the far wall, covered with red cloth. They look human. And we're absolutely investigating that further. I approach the red-shrouded figures, expecting that at any moment to leap up and grab at me. There are 3. Each has a label hanging from its toes. Benjamin Kramer, January 19th, 1927. Abraham Hollingsworth, April 22nd, 1927. And Marion Phipps, August 6th, 1927. I lift one corner of the shroud. Underneath, wrapped in tight bandages, is a thin but unmistakably human form. I'm looking at 3 dead bodies. Embalmed dead bodies. Make a sanity roll. Okay, let's do it. Sanity. Oh, that's a 43. My sanity's 49. Perfect. Success. Okay. So, I thought you looked like a snoop. Like what you found, did you? A burly villager fills the doorway, blocking out much of the daylight. I can make out a dark apron and a thick beard. He steps forward, fist raised. I can surrender without a fight or fight the artisan. I'm gonna punch a guy, is what I'm gonna do. Okay. I struggle with the huge man. His fist comes out of the darkness like hammers. Okay. Conduct close quarters combat using pages 12 and 13 of the Quick Start rules. Fun. Okay. You may need to refer to page 7 first to look up your damage bonus. I've got my damage bonus on the character sheet. Okay. The combatant with the higher dex acts first. The artisan and I will take one action each combat round. I may fight back, rolling my fighting brawl or dodge against each attack. Combat rolls are opposed rolls. Whoever gets the best level of success wins. So the artisan has a dex of 41 and a fighting brawl skill of 35. 17 is half and 7 is 1/5. He has 12 hit points. He will attack me every combat round, and his successful hits do 1d3 plus 1d4 damage. Okay. If I have a knife or similar weapon... Okay, I don't... After 3 rounds, you may attempt to circle around behind the man and escape. This requires a hard roll, and if you do not achieve a success on the roll, he may land another blow. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, team. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 rounds. 3 rounds. I have 13 hit points. And I actually do more damage than he does. I do 1d12 plus 1d3 plus 1 damage. So, okay. So, he has a dex of 41. What is my dex? I have a dex of 65. I get the drop on him. Yes, Annie. Okay. Annie, sly, lithe, young woman, strong... Gonna throw a punch. Okay. So, I miss. So that's great. That's a 77. So that's a failure. So then I roll his attack. Yeah, I roll his attack. Okay, so I'm rolling, this is his. And he rolled an 83, so he's got a 35. So we just both miss. Okay. Because we both fail. Okay, so now we're on the second round. I'm going to attack again. So I'm going to roll. And I got a 22. Okay, so a 22 is, in fact, I think that's a hard success for me. Because here's my unarmed attack down here. I hope you can see that on screen. So I have to get a 60 to succeed, but a hard success is a 30 or below, and I rolled a 22. So I have a hard success. So he needs to get like a hard or extreme success to like beat me. So he's rolling for him. And he rolled 100, so I get a pop in there. And I deal, hold on, I'll change my dice. I'm going to clear my dice from there, and I need to roll, a d4, so a d4. Okay, so I got a 2 on the d4. I need to roll a d3. Let's see, do we have a weird one? There we go. Here's a d3. and a 1 on my D3. Okay, so 2, 3, and I get a +1. So I just dealt 4 points of damage. I just pop him at, like, I think I get a solid, like, body shot and just make him, like, double over. So that's 4 points of damage. He starts at 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay. So that's where he's at. And now we're going to go into our third round of combat. So I'll roll mine first. I've got to reset all my dice again. So clear my dice. And here's my D100. All right. That's a 49. That's a success. That's a success for me. But that's just a regular success. And now we'll roll for the villager. Ooh, he got a 14, which is a hard success. So he gets a hit on me. So he does 1d4 plus 1d3 damage. Okay. I'm going to roll the damage here. I hope you guys trust me. So I'm going to roll my d4 and my d6, and I'll do the d6, divided by 2. Okay, so that is... Oh, son of a nutcracker. He got a 4 on the d4, and a 1 on the d3. So he just did 5 points of damage to me. So I am also at 8 hit points. Okay. So I'm going to go for one more round. I'm going to go for at least one more round. This is exciting. Okay, I'm gonna try to punch him. I'm going for his jaw. Let's see if I can't. 37. Okay, 37 is a regular success for me. Let's see what our villager rolls. Oh, that's a miss for him. That's a 72, so I get to hit him. So I deal, here's my 1d4. That's a 3 on the d4. And a 2 on my d3. So that's 6 points of damage. He is down to 2 hit points, and that is a thing in the story. If I reduce the man to 6 or fewer hit points, go to 268. So we're gonna do that. I think I pop him in the jaw and just straight break his jaw. Okay. Okay. After a grueling exchange, I land the decisive blow and the man's legs buckle. He slams to the floor, blood dripping down his apron. His eyes flicker. I may checkmark the small box beside fighting brawl skill. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Love that. Love that for me. Please checkmark. Okay. And now I want to interrogate this man about the bodies. Jeez. Okay. The artisan sniffs, trying to clear his nose of blood from the broken nose that I gave him. He seems to slip in and out of consciousness. I loom over him, threatening further violence unless it talks about the bodies. Just villagers, he rasps. Died natural. We saved them for the festival. I do have the main rulebook, Dapper. Actually, Liam got it for me as a surprise. Liam is my husband, stream friends. I have the rulebook. I have the Berlin book, Setting and Adventures. And I think he got me one other book. I just forget. I haven't read it yet, so I forget which one it was. Anyway. Okay. I close this man up in the workshop and think about what my next move is going to be. Well, that was fun. Whew. I think I can do one more thing, right? I'm going to go to the village hall. That's what I'm going to do. Because I don't want to go to May Letterbed's bedroom. And I don't really want to flee for good. Because, yeah. Okay. There we go. Keeping away from the streets, I skirt the northern cliffs and approach the village hall from the rear. It's close to the beacon, and I will not be able to use the door unobserved. I check the windows. The one on the east side facing the beacon is bricked up. A shutter is loose on the westward-facing window, and I'm able to ease it open and slide inside, closing the shutter behind me. I drop into the village meeting room and pad through, passing through dim shafts of light and listening to the excited chatter from the locals outside. The door opposite reads private. Hearing nothing from the door's other side, I turn the handle. The room is lined with books. In the corner is a small water closet and pantry. A quick survey of the rest of the room reveals little, so I turn to the bookcase. Savannah probably would have gone to the bookcase. The dim light makes it difficult to read the spines. Is there anything useful here? All right. Spot hidden is what I get to do. So I need below a 35 on my spot hidden. Let's... Ooh, not going to make that. That's a 98. Absolutely not. Okay. So that's a failure. Tucked between two books, I find a detailed map of the area around Emberhead. It shows woodland contours and 2 roads east and west. Although no other settlements are marked, this may prove useful if I do decide to leave today. The clatter of activity around the beacon seems to be building, and I flinch at every conversation that gets too close to the building's door. It feels the right time to retrace my steps, slipping away through the window. Okay. All right, so I've done 3 things. Moving on. I'm contemplating my next move when I see one villager, a bald man with a damaged ear, watching me intently. Some instinct makes me walk in the other directions. Then I see the others ahead, and to my side, a wary teenager, an evil-eyed matron, a man hefting a club. They're not staring as obviously at the first, but they keep me under watch, and they are closing in. I cannot hope to overcome 4 of them at once. Okay, to try to lose them among the buildings, or to run for it. I'm gonna run for it. The people know their village better than me. I pick the biggest gap between them and sprint into it. They give chase. I find myself heading for the southern road. As I approach, I see 4 villagers stationed in the middle of the road, clearly guards. I veer off towards the half-ruined church, already breathing hard. I slip inside the building, through the broken window, and duck under the elderly boards which slash the interior, making for the door on the other side. The door is quite intact, moldy and locked. 2 of my pursuers climb into the church through the window. The other 2 enter by the main door. "Give it up!" One thumps his club against his palm. "It'll go better for you if you don't resist." They close in. I'm getting low on options. I can either give myself up or try to collapse a section of roof onto them. I'm going to do that. That sounds more fun. Even as I spin around and look for a weak point, I know the plan is deranged. Less than 2 days ago, I was just... sorry, this doesn't read... because the book doesn't know that I changed the starting story a little bit. But, I'm trying to demolish a church while still inside of it. Under one section of partially collapsed roof, I see a wooden pillar which is already bowed. I snatch up a piece of broken ironwork. And I get to make a hard strength roll. My strength is good. My strength is like an 85. So I need to get a 42 or lower for this to be a success. So fingers crossed. Oh, geez, that's an 82. So that's it. That's actually a success, but it's not a hard success. And so that's not going to do it. So if I fail, go to 183. I beat the pillow with all my strength. The villagers draw back in alarm, then relax as they see I'm having no effect whatsoever. They back me against the church wall. I swing my club for a few desperate seconds. But they overpower me and tear it from my fingers. Yeah, exactly, Colonel Blah. I just need to collapse a church while I'm inside of it while remaining uninjured. Surely that's a normal thing to do. But no, alas, I've been captured. The fading light from a narrow window tells me the afternoon is giving way to evening. My hands are shackled behind my back, and I cannot even lie down on the rough bed. A woman I've not seen before comes in. Her face is wrinkled and her eyes dull. They do not meet mine, but she puts a cup to your lips. I am absolutely not drinking that, but I want to know what happens if you drink it, so I'm writing that down to look at it later. But we're rejecting that. I turn my face away, and when she tries again, I dash the cup from her hands using the side of my head. The clear liquid spills across the floor. The woman gives a half shrug and turns to leave the room. I shout after her, but she gives no reaction. I soon become thirsty. I'm not cheating. I just want to know what happens later. As the light fades outside, my little prison becomes dark. I can hear much activity out around the building. Occasionally an orange glow passes the window. The only comfortable position in the shackle seems to be to sit against the end of the bed with my arms hanging behind me. I need to concentrate and come up with a plan. There's clearly no escape from my bonds. I do not know exactly what my captors want from me, but I cannot ignore the fact that they've spent the entire day constructing a massive bonfire. I'm also fairly certain I know what's happened to Savannah. The door scrapes, wrenching me back into the moment. Orange light spills into the house from blazing torches held at the threshold. 2 large villagers step in and grab me. At least I assume they're villagers. They wear heavy black cloaks with their faces and hands are painted entirely black, save only for a red triangle centered on their left eye. I try to drag my legs, but they reach under my arms and lift me bodily from the bed. Outside, it seems the whole village is congregated to see me. Every single one has a blackened face with a red triangle motif. Torches sputter and spill fire. I struggle, but can see physical resistance is hopeless. I march to the central street and turn to face the beacon. The procession down the approach is slow and formal, save when I sense weakness and yank at my captors. A chill touches me when I see 3 human shapes carried ahead of me, draped in red cloth. The beacon looms larger and larger, its dreadful silhouette a black triangle pointing to the stars. A low drone begins among the cloaked figures. Unbidden, the word mourners comes to mind. Smoke from their torches makes me cough, and I feel heat on my face. As I reach the cleared area around the beacon, 3 dancers break from the pack, young girls swinging balls of fire and spectacular arcs, drawing circles in the night air. One by one, they draw close and touch my forehead with sooty fingers. Each kisses me 3 times, on the left cheek, right cheek, then the forehead. Then they whisper in my ear. The smell of kerosene fills my nostrils. So I make an appearance roll. My appearance is a 55. So I'm 49. That's a success. Okay, huzzah. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. Okay. Through your sacrifice, the village will be reborn, says the first dancer. You pass from earth to air for all our sakes, says the second. I've weakened your chains, says the third. Don't try to escape until the flames are high enough to hide you. I stare at the third dancer. In that inky visage, I clearly discern the frightened features of Ruth Ledbetter. Thanks, Dapper. And he's hot. She's very strong. The dance weaves off and disappears behind the buildings. Okay, go to 18. As I arrive beneath the beacon, 10 villagers close in on me. Working with surprising coordination, they immobilize me and lift me up the blackened iron stairs to the raised platform. I cannot help but shiver at the sight of the central framework, twisted from past blazes, and what I can now clearly see to be 2 fastening points for chains. None of the eyes meet mine as they lash me to the metal. The village sings now, something rhythmic and ancient, carved from odd syllables. A second group ascends to the beacon, carrying the 3 red-draped bodies. With reverence, they arrange their burdens in a triangle around my feet. Then they withdraw, leaving me alone with the dead, shin deep in a sea of kindling. Jeez. It seems the entire village is gathered around the beacon to watch me burn. Behind the face paint, I recognize May Ledbetter, and yes, that is Silas, the coach driver, standing at his side. The audacity and scale of the deception staggers me. A man steps up on the dais and raises his hands with quiet authority. The frame of his spectacles obscures the red triangle on his face. So here we draw together again on this night, as we do each year, and we give thanks to the one who will preserve the village again against the fire of the void. You will be taken by the ones from above in our stead. Your death will bring life to our streets and bounty to our fields. It will safeguard our children and our elders alike for another year. We salute you. He bows his head. All around the beacon, bearers step forward and lift their torches to the edge of the raised platform. A ring of tiny flames flickers up around the perimeter. As they wink, the singing of the villagers drops into an unearthly rhythm. So I can throw all my strength against the bonds or wait and see. So here's the thing. Ruth told me to wait. So I'm gonna wait. And I've got 8 whole hit points right now. Oh, jeez. The flames snake across the kindling, catching and rising. Smoke rises and it becomes difficult to see the villagers. The 3 bodies surrounding me catch fire, blazing with sooty red flames. I begin to cough and the smoke enters my lungs and fight down the urge to panic. If you have learned a strange chant and wish to try it, this is the moment. Damn, I want to try that. I'm going to try the chant. So, I'm going to add 10 to this. We're going to do a chant. The flames draw closer as I bring Arbogast's chant to mind. It's hard to clear my head as the heat grows beneath my feet. I cough and sputter but sustain the words. Finally, I reach the key passage, and even as my clothes catch fire, I yell for the 3rd time. Pthugli manakfa Cthuga form halt naguha ga naflthagen aya Cthuga. The swirling tongue of fire around me stop in midair. The people around the beacon freeze, their black painted faces bleached and stripped as a second sun opens in the air above Emberhead. In an instant, the people, the village, the hill, all are consumed, incinerated by impossible proximity to sheer combustion, the essence of fire. Though my body is bound to the beacon, my being is freed. As a spark, I race into space catapulted through the vastness of the void. The stars burn past me with incomprehensible velocity. And then I'm home. Forever I will dwell here, at full heart, where the flames ripple and flow through immense spaces to the rhythms of the universe, where planets themselves move and tilt through unutterable wheels of fire, bound to the clockwork chaos of the living flame. And among the flames I will dance. I have single-handedly destroyed a section of New Hampshire and about 16 miles in diameter. This also killed me. The end. Okay, I kind of love that ending, team. I kind of love that ending. Annie got revenge for Savannah, right? Did she also die horribly? Annie didn't die horribly. I dance among the living flame forever. I am eternal, is what I understand to have just happened. So I think, actually, I know I didn't survive, but I did fully destroy this town. So in my mind, if this is all canon, right, then we can't repeat this adventure again because Emberhead is gone and doesn't exist. So I think next month we will move on to the next adventure and I'll have to come up with another character. I liked Annie. I'm a little sad we can't play her anymore. But yeah, okay, died in epic fashion. Yes, I'm kind of here for it. Oh, what happens if you drink the water? That's what I've got to find out. Or if you drink whatever is pressed to your lips. Let's find that out and then we'll wrap this up. Stay tuned for Lanny, Annie's sister, with mysteriously similar stats. No, I don't know. I'll figure something else out. Okay. Ooh. Oh, no. Okay, so if you drink from the cup, it's just cool, refreshing water, which I gulp down. When it's empty, the woman that gives it to you turns to leave. I speak to her, but she steps out and closes the door. I try yelling, but my voice must be audible, but it has no effect. It seems the entire village is involved. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't... Yeah. The water doesn't do anything, even though I was very, I was convinced that was going to be a thing. Okay. Well, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me. We'll be back to do this in the first Thursday in April. We'll have a new adventure that time. And definitely check out, sorry, I don't know the programming for Amateurish Productions for the rest of the week, but definitely be looking for announcements for the schedule and all of that. And I hope you guys just have a great day, and always remember that it's dangerous to go alone.